Hi there. Today I'm taking a look at a New Zealand Syrah, particularly good one. This is Le Sol from Craggy Range, which is from the Gimblett Gravels region of the Hawke's Bay. So Hawke's Bay is on the east coast of New Zealand, so it's one of the drier areas of New Zealand's North Island, and also has some of the best sunshine out. So the driest and warmest area, and as a result Hawke's Bay tends to produce full-bodied whites and more structured reds from, say, Cabernet and Merlot and Syrah, and it's fairly successful in those. The Gimblett Gravels is a region within Hawke's Bay. It's a registered brand. It's been created by a number of growers there, so you have to meet certain criteria to use the term on a label, in terms of what you plant, where your vineyards are, your yields, and etc. So it's quite well regulated, but it's not something that's government imposed. It's created by the growers. It's a region of soils bordering the town of Hastings on its east side. And it's an area where it was a floodplain for, probably still is a floodplain from a river, but the river has been channeled, and as a result you've got these sort of deep, free-draining free-draining stone soils, gravels, with a very light covering of alluvial soils. So I've heard people suggest that growing grapes here is almost like hydroponics. I'm not sure that's completely true, but I can see why people make the comparison. So it's the sort of area that's actually loved by these by the grapevines that produce these sort of rich red wines. Craggy Range, relatively new winery. Its history dates back to 1999, when I'm not really sure whether Terry Peabody's an Australian or an American. He was born in America, but I think has lived and made his career mostly in Australia. But Terry Peabody teamed up with a New Zealand viticulturist, Steve Smith, and the two of them created Craggy Range as a sort of as a top-end winery, producing wines with very little expense spared, to be honest. So wines like Le Sol or Cabernet Merlot they make, Sophia, are amongst the most expensive wines from Hawke's Bay. Steve Smith is no longer with the venture, but the Peabody family still own the estate and take a very large part in its running. They're not sort of absentee proprietors. This particular wine, as I say, no expense spared in terms of the way it's made. I mean, this is from fruit that's hand picked, but they don't just go through the vineyard and pick. They'll go through in a number of passes, so that the fruit is taken just when it's sort of absolutely ripe. A proportion is left as whole bunches, and the ferment, in fact, I think only 44% of the total wine was destemmed. Destemmed, and the wine ferments. It ferments with its indigenous yeasts, so to create additional complexity. It ferments in a selection of oak, French and Austrian, evidently, some barriques, so smaller barrels, and puncheons, so larger casks. In terms of aging, it goes into French oak barriques, so 225-litre barrels, and ages in those for 17 months, and 38% of those barrels were new. So that, again, very little expense spared in terms of the winemaking, a lot of care taken. The wines weren't fine, so I guess they'd be suitable for vegetarians, and were lightly filtered into bottle. So let's have a look at the wine, shall we, and see what we make of it there. The colour has a really vibrant purple note to it. It's a sort of a more blue end of the spectrum, purple rather than a red end. It's a 2020 Syrah, so it's quite young, so that youthfulness and colour, but also swirling the wine, it's the depth of colour is such, it's staining the glass as it's swirled, and It's pretty much opaque. I can't really see through it there. Just smelling it without swirling even, there's quite a milky aroma initially. There's a sort of a real smoothness to the aromas, but let's have a proper sniff, shall we? So the milkiness is paired with some sort of deep, dark, concentrated sort of black cherry, almost cassis-like fruit there. But then there are also plentiful savoury notes and spice. There's a little bit of that sort of bacony note. There's a little bit of sort of classic Syrah pepperiness. Again, I mean, it's just staining the glass there. The colour is very pronounced. There are fair tears showing. I mean, the label only says the wine is 13.5% alcohol, so I'm assuming there's quite a lot of body there in terms of tannins. So let's have a taste, shall we? The fruit is again a juicy jack, black cherry, black plum sort of note. Actually, the plum really coming out there, but with a very savoury, underlying savoury note, black olive perhaps as well. The texture, very velvety, almost like a sort of a plum skin. There's a real savoury note to the finish there, and it's becoming quite spicy, a sort of more of a white pepper sort of note. Slightly more peaked and less rustic. The texture is wonderfully smooth, as I say, velvety, that sort of plum skin sort of texture there. There's a sort of a drying note on the finish, and then the fruit begins to open again, and you're getting that sort of slightly juicy black cherry and savoury notes at the finish there. I suppose that's where you're seeing sort of slight smoky bacon notes as well. Yeah, and the wine is a little closed up on the mid palate. It's relatively full-bodied. There's plenty of tannin going in there. Maybe it's the tannin that's closing it a little. But the wine's concentration and persistence is excellent. I mean, that's very clearly a quality wine. Probably needs to be come back to in about 4 or 5 years' time, just to allow the fruit to come out and really overpower the tannins there. The tannins, have plenty of presence, but at the same time they're not angular. They're ripe, and they've got a plushness to them. So yeah, a delicious wine. So that is Le Sol Gimblett Gravels Syrah from the Hawke's Bay, from Craggy Range, the 2020 vintage of that. Thank you for joining us. I hope you found this interesting, and do join us again. Bye now.